What up, those? The music scene, we got all the action, all the smoke. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already subscribed to the channel. Hit the notification bell to be notified when we drop another banger. Make sure y'all hit that like button and share the video. Hope y'all having a good new year. So we gonna start this off a little different. We switching it up a little bit. See if y'all messing with it. We gonna tweak the algorithm. So look, I promised this video just getting to y'all late, but check it out. Without further ado, NBA Youngboy time almost up. Something he did. He made a fatal mistake. I'm gonna tell you what. But before we get into there, let's talk about what's been going on lately. So a week ago, reports that they investigated him for that shooting last year at Rolling Loud. So feds probe fatal Florida shooting involving Baton Rouge rapper. So for the sake of not running out of video, I'm not gonna really read through it. I'm gonna paraphrase. So pretty much, he had an incident on a highway with somebody, and they opened fire. His girlfriend at the time, Kayla Long, she was shot, and the 5-year-old boy was grazed, and he was treated at the scene. People in his vehicle returned fire, and a stray bullet from across the parking lot hit this dude, 43-year-old dude, Muhammad Jarati. And so, we thought everything was died down, it was, good or whatever. And for y'all who don't know, NBA Youngboy paid for that funeral. He sent his remorse, paid for that funeral. So anyway, so this leading, y'all stay with me, this leading to the mistake he made. So y'all know he been getting out a lot of different stuff. Situation with his baby mama, him and Star in a hotel, he alleged sent her to beat up the girl that cleaned the rooms, all them guns they got found with, the Rolling Loud incident. So all this stuff was seeming just like, it was going away. He had a good lawyer or something, but he seemed like he was good. And so when they recently got caught with all them guns and he was able to bond everybody out, it was like why they let him out? Like, it made you wonder why they let him out. It was either somebody was snitching and they let him back out to be CIs, or that they just trying to fry bigger fish, which they is. Now, how was NBA Youngboy protected by all that? Was it just good lawyers? But no, he was an asset. Y'all think about when Kodak Black years ago, when he kind of got locked up one of them first times, kind of right after the XXL freshman thing. On the behalf of his record label, the judge decided, okay, we're gonna let him out. It's like, he good for the label, he make us money. And so, all them executives, they be in the bed with each other. They be all family members, friends, and stuff like that. They do favor for a favor. And so that's why you get a good lawyer, you pay to get a good lawyer, because they're gonna get it done, not just because they so good at law, because favor for a favor, they get it done. So anyway, so NBA Youngboy being an asset, they gonna kind of like overlook it. Just say when he had the incident, when he was in a shootout on the south side, and he didn't kill nobody, didn't hit nobody, his friend got shot in the neck or something like that, but they had put him on pretty much like some type of 10-year like thing, like he's supposed to pretty much been doing 10 years, but they was like, if we do 3 years probation or something like that and don't get into nothing, they'll let him go, something like that. And so he had little situations since then, and people thought that, the judge is gonna give him a 10, but somehow he was able to come from under that and then get off probation. Now, recently, the money and stuff that they had took from him when they confiscated them guns, they gave it back. And y'all see some of the videos I did on it. I talked about it. Now, what did NBA Youngboy do? What mistake did he make? I'm gonna try to speed this along because, doing it this way, I don't know how much video I got. All right, let's do a little background. So October 21st. So y'all, before we get in this, y'all aware that DJ Academics did a infamous interview with NBA Youngboy, and it might never come out, probably when NBA Youngboy die. But DJ Academics was talking on it, and he was saying like NBA Youngboy like is another side to him, and this interview it'll make you look at him different. And so, well, let's just read this. NBA Youngboy shows so much growth, introspection, and business sense on the story of OJ top version. For anyone thought he was a dumb A.N. just toting guns, go listen. Clearly, he's way more aware and smart than he allows most people to believe. Now, in that song, Story of OJ, if y'all haven't heard it, go check it out. But he talk about what people allege that he was talking about Kevin Gates. He's saying that you taking 10% from me for a finder's fee. So y'all know Kevin Gates kind of was like the reason NBA Youngboy went over to Atlantic Records. And usually people supposed to get a finder's fee. NBA Youngboy never came out and said he was talking about Gates. But Gates, responded on a live and was talking to his girl Drake and was like, have I ever took any money from anybody or any artist, for type, finder's fee or anything like that? And so she was like, no. And she was like, I felt that you should have, but no. Okay. Just say NBA Youngboy was talking about Kevin Gates and maybe he was misunderstood. Maybe he thought that he, got a fee off that, which most people do. Okay, so this what Academics post like almost 3 months ago. And also the video, the interview that DJ Academics always talking about. He be like, I asked Youngboy, can I release it? He was like, nah. He was like, Youngboy said, don't you think it'd be better and more impactful after I'm dead and stuff like that? And so DJ Academics didn't say what the interview was about, but he said that NBA Youngboy smarter than what y'all think. And, he had you looking at him different. And so I feel like a lot of the stuff that NBA Youngboy do is an image. And he even say on some of his song, this image that I'm putting on. And so, it makes you think like, okay, it got to be for money because you're always talking about his kids and having stuff for his kids and saying that he ain't got money. He used to say he ain't have money, but his kids did. And so he say, if you his real friend, you have a trust fund. If you listen to some of his song, he say, when I'm gone, 3-3, Bendy, make sure y'all, hold it down. Baby Joe stay out the way of these people. So, in like Tupac fashion, it seemed like he know his time is up. Like he been knew his time was up. But what did he do to like seal that deal to where it's coming into fruition? Now on the story of OJ, that song, he said he's part of he part of United Masters. So what is United Masters? Okay. Before we dive into that, let's go back to, y'all remember when NBA Youngboy was like, I tried to buy my masters. I told my label they could have the next 2 albums if I get my masters. They said no. So y'all see he's starting to bark up the wrong tree with that. He didn't let good enough be good enough. Y'all, you can cause as much mayhem as you want, and we gonna make sure that you good. But now you start messing with talking about the money. You started talking about you being woke. Started talking about masters and people getting finder's fee. Like you starting to talk like you aware now. Like look at these numbers. Bandit. We did with Juice World. 260 million views. That's just a year ago. How I Been. He just did that 4 weeks ago. 13 million. KC Talk 61 million. Did that 4 months ago. Look at that Genie 2 years ago, 294 million. So y'all know he like the leader of YouTube and stuff like that. All pretty much all the streaming service, Tidal and all of them, Spotify. He killing. So if he an asset, y'all probably ask, why would his time be up? Why won't they protect him? Like, is his time up because of ops? Nah. Like he said in the songs, he been surviving about 7 years in beef. So he do pretty decent at invading beef. So y'all say, so what is it? What did he do? Okay. So let's check a United Master. What is United Masters? I'm gonna read a little bit, but I'm gonna really just break it down to what it is. So if y'all know Steve Stout, he's an exec. He's been the music exec. Work with Puff, like everybody you can name, or they worked under him or with him. So y'all know in the advent of the digital music age, how it took over and kind of made record company obsolete pretty much. So they gotta always find a way to keep their hand on it to make money. So they was they already had the distribution infrastructure already together. So people, even if you independent, you only could do so much. For them to get you overseas in different places and different venues and stuff, you still have to deal with the masters. With the record labels. So y'all know a little bit about masters. Pretty much, you make music, you own the music. You own the publishing. So every time they play your song somewhere in a club, on a commercial, in a video game, on a streaming service, long as you own the masters or whoever own the masters, and every time they play it, it accumulate revenue. So every quarter, different publishing companies like ASCAP, BMI, they will pay you a check. So what NBA Youngboy wanted was his masters. Now, what is United Masters? So, like I said in the story of OJ, he said he owned a percentage of United Masters. So, Atlantic Records is not going to give him his masters. So, they going to own his publishing and make money off him forever for the rest of, whatever. So, he got the money up front. So, what is United Master? And, why was he bragging about that? So, Steve Stout, the CEO of it, and they saying he's an advertising and music industry entrepreneur. He serves as founder and chief executive of United Master in Translation. A whole bunch of other people who's in on a deal who made it possible. 21st Century Fox or whatever. So basically, I'm gonna break it down. What it is, artists, they would purchase different packages, however they do, send money to United Masters. United Masters would split the publishing with them, and they both will make money off the publishers, but the artist still remain owner of the masters. So they own the catalog, they own the master still. So while they're being distributed by United Masters, the United Master split the publishing. So whenever they want to pull out and be done with it, they still the owner of it. Okay. So all right, before we go here. So the mistake NBA Youngboy made was he started to get too aware. He's starting to want money and want wealth, not just a little money, couple million, 10, 20, 30 million, whatever. He wants some real money. And he's starting to see the value of his music and his being and his personality and his catalog to where, if they offer him 10 million to sign again, so he probably worth, 50. And so that's wealth, but they don't want him to have that. What they usually sign these rappers at, and that's why they sign a lot of young rappers, because y'all remember it used to be older rappers and stuff like that, artists. Now it's a young man sport. They want people that come in to be ignorant Now people that think, like when Chief Keef and them came out, that they probably gonna get killed, they ain't gonna last. They can generate enough interest, enough attention to make them, the labels, the money, and they can get their publishing and their masters on their catalog, and then long after the rapper is deceased, just like FBG Duck, they gonna retain ownership, or just like FBG Duck, they giving his mom a hard time to where she got to find different ways to try to release music and make money off her son craft. So they just want to get you going off your creativity and the buzz you already got in your neighborhood, your city, your state, and then put you on a big platform that they all control, to where they can start generating enough money to where they can knock you off or make you go broke. Whatever happened to you, they could forever make money. And so it wasn't really meant for artists to come in here and start making money and making business decisions. Jay-Z and them changed a lot. Puffy and them changed a lot. Russell Simmons changed a lot. So when people start wanting to own stuff, shoes, clothes, wine, Rick Ross, different stuff like that, that's not what the labels really wanted, artists to do. They just wanted to really get them in the door and make money off of them. And so that's why people think why rappers that talk conscience, they don't really do well. They don't really have longevity. But the rappers that, talk crazy and violence and guns and getting caught up in all type of stuff, they see be the one that excel. Now check it out. If y'all know the history of the labels, artists will follow what the labels want. Like, the type of stuff they want. If the labels said, anybody who got guns in their video, we not supporting y'all. Y'all can't make money. Everybody stopped putting guns in their video. So for that same reason, a lot of people who don't even be into like certain type of criminal activities and stuff, and they talk like that and they be capping because they know that's what's allowed, and that that's how they'll get shine, space into the industry, to do what they say. So y'all ask why, why they want to promote it. We're gonna get to that. What do it have to do with NBA Youngboy and what was his mistake? So NBA Youngboy, he play crazy or whatever, but he not dumb, And so what I think in that interview, he really probably talking about that, like, he probably really for the community, the kids, and but for him to keep the attention, he got to keep this going on. DJ Academics even said that NBA Youngboy told Offset to go back to that gutter way, like he not like into that, but that's what's gonna revive him. And so he not dumb, he know. So they want to desensitize us, right? They want us to be insensitive to music about like killing and I mean young boys 16, 15, 17 getting killed. All these black people getting killed, all these entertainers, rappers and stuff getting killed. And we seeing it so much and nothing's been done about it till we used to it. We desensitized. So check it out. Desensitization. The psychology, desensitization is a treatment or a process. So over time, they concoct these different plans and ways to go about stuff, and over time that diminish the emotional responsiveness. So you get to the point to where you're immune to it. It's not even like you don't even react to it negatively. And so that's pretty much what it is. So what did this have to do with anything? So if y'all know, they were saying in 1991, it was supposed to be some type of plan with the PIC, Prison Industrial Complex, to where they was going to put a spotlight on rap and make it more gangster, crime, And pretty much what they want is to incite stuff. How you see now, all these rappers beefing. King Von get killed, you know. Quando Rondo part of that. Now they mad at NBA Youngboy. Now you know Pooh Shiesty, Fredo Bang, they at the video shoot. And so when you think about all this, and you think about the hip hop police that came around in the era when 50 Cent was kind of like get rich or die trying around that part. And so they're making money to locking these people up. They even be doing little setups, you know, entrapment and stuff like that, acting like they regular people, catching people up, catching prostitutes, just all type of stuff. And so all this stuff makes sense and goes to the prison industrial complex. The term prison industrial complex derived from the military industrial complex of the 1950 described the attribution of the rapid, that means fast-paced expansion of the U.S. inmates population to the political influence in private prison companies and business that supply goods and service to the government prison agencies for profit. So you got the government prisons, then you got private prisons, and they all in connection and in cahoots to make each other money. And so it's a lot of major corporation. They say Jay-Z invested into it. There's a lot of corporation, McDonald's. They use inmates to produce frozen foods, processed beef patties. They also process beef, bread, milk, chicken products. Wendy's. They also been identified as relying on prison labor to reduce its cost of operation. Inmates also process beef for patties. Walmart. Who else we got? Starbucks, Sprint, Verizon, Victoria's Secret, JCPenney. And so what exactly was the plan for the prison industrial complex? So basically they say in 1991, it's supposed to have been a group of people that like powerful executives. They brought like certain artists and people in to this secret room at a secret location and say pretty much we're gonna infiltrate the hip hop game. We're gonna make the rap real, grimy, to where it's gonna lead to a lot of people doing crimes. The youth, we're gonna target the youth for them to do crimes and for them to go to jail. And we're gonna make money by filling the jails, make money off the labors, people in jail making license plates and all types of stuff. And like you saw the different companies that invested in them. And so we don't know how many different CEOs and celebrities. And so this is what, like 2007, but I initially seen this video like years ago, probably almost 10 years ago. It was some of the artists was talking about it. So this alleged secret meeting to where they explain what the plan was to infiltrate the rap and make it worse to where they can feed people to prison and make more money. And so pretty much NBA Youngboy's been contributing to this the whole time. All the beefs and stuff that he's been into and inciting or whatever, and all the people, he like the #1 artist, all the young people following. So, they commit crimes on the street because they want to be like NBA Youngboy and they start off young. And I mean, not just him only, but people like him. And then when he get in situations, the people in the industry, they get in situations because they supposed to be gangster and they feel like they supposed to be gangster and stuff like that. They go to jail, these prisons and jails make money off of them, a couple dollars here and there. People from their entourage, y'all see all these feds and RICO cases and people getting caught up. So a lot of rappers been getting killed lately. And who knows, it could be secret agents. It don't got to just be people they beef with, a lot of stuff be unsolved. All these people going feds, these rappers getting caught up. And so the powerful days of hip hop and making money and parlaying into different business, they about to be done with all that. So this is a little snippet on the secret meeting that's supposed to change rap. And so I'm going to play a little bit of it.
After more than 20 years, I finally decided to tell the world what I witnessed in 1991, which I believe was one of the biggest turning point in popular music, and ultimately American society. I have struggled for a long time weighing the pros and cons of making this story public, as I was reluctant to implicate the individuals who were present that day. So I've simply decided to leave out names and all the details that may risk my personal well-being and that of those who were, like me, dragged into something they weren't ready for. Between the late 80s and early 90s, I was what you may call a decision maker with one of the more established companies in the music industry. I came from Europe in the early 80s and quickly established myself in the business. The industry was different back then, since technology and media weren't accessible to people like they are today. The industry had more control over the public and had the means to influence them any way it wanted. This may explain why in early 1991, I was invited to attend a closed-door meeting with a small group of music business insiders to discuss rap music's new direction. Little did I know that we would be asked to participate in one of the most unethical and destructive business practice I've ever seen. The meeting was held at a private residence on the outskirts of Los Angeles. I remember about 25 to 30 people being there, most of them familiar faces. Speaking to those I knew, we joked about the theme of the meeting, as many of us did not care for rap music and failed to see the purpose of being invited to a private gathering to discuss its future. Among the attendees was a small group of unfamiliar faces who stayed to themselves and made no attempt to socialize beyond their circle. Based on their behavior and formal appearances, they didn't seem to be in our industry. Our casual chatter was interrupted when we were asked to sign a confidentiality agreement preventing us from publicly discussing the information presented during the meeting. Needless to say, this intrigued and in some cases disturbed many of us. The agreement was only a page long but very clear on the matter and consequences, which stated that violating the terms would result in job termination. We asked several people what this meeting was about and the reason for such secrecy, but couldn't find anyone who had answers for us. A few people refused to sign and walked out. No one stopped them. I was tempted to follow, but curiosity got the best of me. A man who was part of the unfamiliar group collected the agreements from us. Quickly after the meeting began, one of my industry colleagues, who shall remain nameless like everyone else, thanked us for attending. He then gave the floor to a man who only introduced himself by first name and gave no further details about his personal background. I think he was the owner of the residence, but it was never confirmed.
The best way to burn fat is with more fat. And I'm being serious because there's actually two different types of fat in your body. One is...
He briefly praised all of us for the success we had achieved in our industry and congratulated us for being selected as part of this small group of decision makers. At this point, I began to feel slightly uncomfortable at the strangeness of this gathering. The subject quickly changed as the speaker went on to tell us that the respective companies we represented had invested in a very profitable industry which could become even more rewarding with our active involvement. He explained that the companies we work for had invested millions into the building of privately owned prisons and that our positions of influence in the music industry would actually impact the profitability of these investments. I remember many of us in the group immediately looking at each other in confusion. At the time, I didn't know what a private prison was, but I wasn't the only one. Sure enough, someone asked what these prisons were and what any of this had to do with us. We were told that these prisons were built by privately owned companies who received funding from the government based on the number of inmates. The more inmates, the more money the government would pay these prisons. It was also made clear to us that since these prisons are privately owned, as they become publicly traded, we'd be able to buy shares. Most of us were taken back by this. Again, a couple of people asked what this had to do with us. At this point, my industry colleague who had first opened the meeting took the floor again and answered our questions. He told us that since our employers had become silent investors in this prison business, it was now in their interest to make sure that these prisons remained filled. Our job would be to help make this happen by marketing music which promotes criminal behavior, rap being the music of choice. He assured us that this would be a great situation for us because rap music was becoming an increasingly profitable market for our companies, and as employee, we'd also be able to buy personal stocks in these prisons. Immediately, silence came over the room. You could have heard a pin drop.
Okay, so check it out. So these some older articles, but figures, whatever. So like he just said, in order to make money, corporate prisons are set up so that they need prisoners. That makes sense. You got school, you need students. A lot of them state governments sign contracts with correctional corporations who agreed to provide a certain number of prison beds and to keep those beds filled, or at least 90% of them. So this is almost like an apartment complex. You got a property manager, and they got to try to keep a certain amount of tenants in there. That's how you make money. So if you have a prison, and you need to make money, and to make money, you have to have a certain amount of inmates. That means if it's no crime, you're going to stir up stuff to make crime, and what way to do it under a control system like hip hop and got people beefing and listening to the music and want to be like the artists and all this. You think about like a lot of the jury and different stuff these artists get, they get it for free, portray this image, you can have this chain. Like NBA Youngboy, that grave digger chain that he got, he said that he didn't even pay for it. It was given to him. And so that probably cost $250,000. But the thing about it is they give these artists type of stuff and a certain type of power to portray a certain image so that youth can stir up stuff and, outside of the industry, like I say, get into trouble. And, the youth is more impressionable. That's why it's a young man sports now. They not really like showing the older people love, because now they know, and they much older now, so they want to start biz and take care of their family and stuff like that. And so, they only gonna let them do so much. Like Busta Rhymes, he just had a great album, or whatever. He already rich and stuff, but they only gonna let him do so much. Artists like that. And so anyway, Youngboy making all this money, so it wouldn't be a reason to stop the money. But like I say, if they control his masters and something happened to him, they gonna forever make money off of him. So basically, they just want him to be quiet and play nice. He can cause all the drama, as much hell as he want in the industry or whatever, however society see him, but he can't cause it with them, these corporations and stuff like that. And so the thing is, they know he woke, they know he aware, they know he asking questions. He asking about his money. He want ownership. He say he used to thought he was a boss because he had cars and money, all that. But but now he see what it is about being a boss. Owning something or whatever. And so they not really feeling that. And so now they gunning for him. So now they gonna pull up all these cases. They're gonna try to flip people from in his camp. Turn them to confidential informants. Get him to snitch on them. Get him to where he done. Because, he asked too many questions. He want to own his masters. And so that's where he made his mistake at, So get a comment. Let me know what y'all think. I'm out. Check.